Board. All right, there we go. There we go. Hey, everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood Grumble here. Today, I'm making a video that will help to illustrate how you can add blocks en masse in like large quantity, remove blocks, and fill areas. The reason I'm doing this is because there's a lot of clickbaity articles that tell you half of that and so on, and I never liked that. When I was looking for this information a while back, there's a few videos out there, but a lot of them are older. For my part, I'm playing Minecraft 1.19. It is Java. If you're playing a different version, it might be a little bit different how the commands and so on work. But I wanted to go just through a very simple, short thing that shows how you can fill areas, build walls, things like that, clear large areas. So let's go ahead and start. Okay. I do have a Patreon. I do have a Twitch. It's TTV Grrgrumble. There we go. Ads are done. Haha. Please check them out. All right. So here's a good example. I've got these big fields that I'm working on. This is a new Minecraft world. Like I said, it's a 1.19. It's got biomes plenty and better animals plus. And I like to make big farms, big towers, big houses, things like this out here, big farms. And we're setting up our world. And in order to do that, I want to clear a bunch of space. I want to make a bunch of space for, animals and fields and things like that. So, for instance, I want to fill this area in with grass blocks. And instead of just going in and, I've done tons of Minecraft where I'm just, sitting here doing this and I'm just thump, 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 thump. The only thing is, and there's a lot to be said for that. But the problem is when you want to do thousands of blocks at a time, do you really want to spend like an entire day clearing out this whole area and putting grass in? I've done it. And I finally got to the point where I said, something, I want to get to the building. So let's do it. Okay. So here's a good example. See how these are even uneven? Okay. What we do is we're going to do a fill technique. And in order to do that, you need to go ahead. We're going to open to LAN. We're going to do allow cheats because, yeah, it's one hell of a cheat. And we're going to start LAN world. Now we've got that there. Okay. So what we do is we are going to use commands to fill these areas. So a good example is this area right here. If I go to the corner, you want to work from the corners. That's very important. If I go in and type fill here, and I just basically make sure I space it, we can come down, we can tab. This is the coordinate for that block. Now I'm just going to hit enter. I'm just going to save that. That way it's sitting right there. Now I want to come back all the way here to this corner. And since we want to fill it all in, I'm not clicking down here. That is for that block. We need to be at this level. So I'm going to click on this corner block here. If there's already grass blocks there, it's not going to change anything. But what I'll do here is, I'll do fill, and then you just tab, space, and you get this coordinate. So you just tab it, and then now you go there. Now what we want to do is, there are different ways to do this. I'm sure there's some people who do it faster than me, but I just manually entered the coordinates. It's the previous coordinate from the previous corner we had, okay? And then all we do is space that, and now we can type in whatever we want. We can do, for instance, grass. We're going to do a grass block. Make sure you tab it. Make sure it's filled in. You do not need to enter a quantity. That's already taken care of by the coordinates. And then you just hit enter. Boom. There you go. That's how you do that. Now, on the flip side, that was us filling a spot. Let's say we have a spot out here, and I want to build a house out here, and I want to have a nice stone foundation. I want to have a stone foundation, looks really cool. So we're not going to dig up the grass blocks. We don't even have to take them out. What we're going to do is we're just going to replace them. In a little bit, I'll show you how to take out a whole section of blocks. But there we did a fill. Now we're going to do a replace. Okay, so here we do the same thing. We do fill. You go ahead and grab these coordinates there, and then we're just going to hit enter. That way we have them. And let's say we have to know where we want to end our thing. We always want to go to the opposite corner. Let's say we're going to have a really big area, okay? So we're going to come out here. It's going to be like a big old rectangle. Let's do fill. And then we grab those coordinates. And then now we just need the previous coordinates, 353, 63, or 356, 63, and then minus 24. Now, what do we want? Let's say we want stone bricks. Okay, there we go. No quantity needed. All you got to do once that's entered in, just make sure your spacing is good. You want to make sure these things are highlighted down here. If they're not, if they're still showing in red, you're missing something, okay? Then just hit enter. Boom, look at that. Beautiful. Now I've got a space to put a house. And just like we did where we filled with stone, now let's say I change my mind and I said, oh, no, I don't want to do that. I want a big grass field. I want to put cows out here, okay? It's the same principle, just in reverse. I mean, I always enter it again. I mean, I have the coordinates in there, but I like to be on the safe side, just because if I screw it up, then I'm going to go ahead and have a whole bunch of extra stuff that I don't want. So then we just come back to the opposite corner and there. And once you practice this a bit, it'll go really quickly. And this will allow you to do some really fun stuff. Just make sure you're entering those numbers correctly, or if you're tabbing or anything. Now, let's say we want it to be grass again. There we go. All right, tab, as long as that's all highlighted properly, and just boom. Look at that. There we go. So there, in a nutshell, is how you can fill and replace. Now, let's say we want to fill an area that's more complicated. Here's a good example. We've got a lot of water down here, tons of water. And let's say, you know, I want to extend my grass fields out here. I want to make this big, beautiful pasture land, and maybe I don't want water here right now. You know, I just don't want it. So what I can do is, see this huge open space? I can come down here, and I actually screwed this up earlier. I was doing this last night, and I screwed it up. But I'm not worried about that section back there. I'm not going to try to dig back there. What I'm going to do is we're just going to work from this corner right here. We're going to take this fill. Actually, we can go from, yeah, we want it to be from the bottommost part. So honestly, it's not going to work perfectly, but let's do this. Oh, hit the wrong thing. There we go. Fill. All right, fill, and we'll grab those coordinates, and then we're just going to save that. Now, if we want to fill down, like to here, we could do this. And it's going to fill all the way to this hole. So here we'll do fill. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm just doing this to illustrate where you can fill in a water area. Okay. And then here we want to make sure we have those previous coordinates, 52 minus 73. And let's say we want to make it with grass, just to build it up. Boom. Look at that. Just like that. Now, further to that, if I say, okay, I want to fill all the way out to over there, let's go ahead. We are going to go to a low spot here. Let's go to this area right here. We're going to do a big fill now. You have to kind of think about like where you're going with it, because like this area right here is not going to get filled, but I'm not really concerned about a little bit of water down there. I'm going to come all the way up here to this corner. I want to fill this whole thing in all the way up to there. So I'm going to come to this, and there's going to be our fill. It's going to be a big section. All right, let's go. There we go. 36049. You don't have to do it manually. There's a way you can tab it. I'm just doing that for the sake of illustrating. And make sure you're always getting these coordinates right. You do not want to get those wrong. You're going to have to do a lot of reverse work. All right, grass block. Boom. Look at that. That whole thing just filled in like that. And it's all the way down. See? Filled the whole thing in. Now, we left a gap here because I didn't come back in this corner. I'm going to fill that later. I just wanted to illustrate how you could bring all this up to that level. And another example, like I want my grass to be level. So it's not leveled right here. So what I want to do is do something like, you say, how do I do it so that this is filled in? Well, first of all, I'm going to do this corner. If I go down here, that's just, it's addressing those blocks on that level. So we need to come here, and here's where we would do a fill. Okay. And there we just make sure we snag those coordinates. Very simple to do. You can just tab and space. Now we've got that. And if we come out here and we say, okay, well, we want to build it up to up here. And the problem is that like, okay, well, this is the lower thing. Well, that's where you get like any kind of block. It doesn't matter what it is. We just want to use that so that it addresses this level. Then we can just say, okay, here's fill. And there's that one. And now let's do that. 340, 63, 63, and minus 79. And then we're going to do grass blocks. Grass, just come down here. There we go. Now watch that. Boom. Filled it in beautifully. Okay. So, and of course, anything like here that I killed, like the fish and all that, I just picked all that up anyway. Okay. So we'll eventually come back and fill all that in. Now, just to illustrate two other ways we can do this. If we just did a big fill area. Now, let's say we want to knock out a really huge area. Like we're like, I just need to have all of this gone. Okay. Like let's say this whole big section right here, where this all raised right here. We want to take all of this out, going all the way to the trees here. All the way back here. We would just want to knock the whole thing out. What I'll do is I'll go to the, like, let's say go to the highest spot here where I've got the trees. We're just going to do fill. I'm going to show you where you can actually have a mistake made here. There we go. That's that spot right there. And we're going to go ahead and go all the way down here to this corner. And we're going to reverse the fill. Okay? So we're going to grab this coordinates. Oops, sorry. Okay, there we go. And now we're going to enter in the other coordinates. There are, like I said, there are people who can shortcut this way better than me, but this, for all intents and purposes, is very functional. Now, in order to get rid of blocks, not replace them, just get rid of them, you do this, and then when you come to all the different stuff, I'm going to put in start writing air. You see there it says Minecraft air right here? That's the fun bit. Tab on that. That's supposed to replace all that with air. Let's see how it does. See, look at that. Boom. Just knock the whole thing out. And the nice thing is it leaves all the bits and pieces of flowers and fish, like dead fish and trees and whatever else you want to have. Most of it leaves. So anything that's going to drop from the trees. Now, occasionally I've done this and I've seen like a stem still sticking out or something like that. But by and large, it works pretty well. So look, I got the sticks. I got the sapling. We got all the benefits. Now see, look, here's a real narrow little spot. We want to air that out, right? Let's go ahead and say we go all the way right here, this corner. Let's do that again. We're going to fill. There's our coordinates. And again, we're working off of corners. Like it's from this corner, and then we have to go all the way back to whatever our widest, point is. So we're a couple blocks over. And you want to make sure you don't come down here. It has to be here, because if you come down here, you're actually going to dig a hole. So you want to come up here and do the fill again. All right, and we're going to capture those coordinates. And there we go. All right, so, and now we're going to do air again. AI, just start typing air, and you can tab it over. And then we go, bam. Look at that. Very clean. We've got all the grass there. Looks wonderful. All right, so that is a good example. There's only one other thing I wanted to show that extends to the build thing. This is for people who want to do things like build big towers or build something really big like what I built up here. I actually laid most of this by hand. I will say this honestly, I really did. But I got to the point where I had to fill in so many thousands and thousands of glass that I said, I've just got to be able to fill in this glass, say 1,000 at a time. Okay, so we're going to come down here, and let's say we want to have a wall here, or we want to build a tower. Okay, you say, well, how am I going to build a really big tower? I'll tell you how we'll do that. Let's grab us some dirt, because we're going to need that. All right, hold on. There we go. All right, so you could sit and go up and say, okay, I'm going to figure out, like, do, subtraction, addition, whatever, figure out the coordinates, blah, blah, blah. No, that's difficult. The easiest thing to do is this. We're going to go up to the level that we want. Let's say we want to build a tower that's, I don't know, however many high. Let's go. We started out with 64. Oh, let's just build it up. And most people know this technique. You just build underneath you if you need to escape from mobs or something. Okay, so look at that. It's 43. So we're 21 blocks high. So what we're going to do is we're going to capture this block right here. And we're just going to capture that coordinate. Now, and then we're going to come down here. Now, keep in mind, I should note, just so people are aware of this, I have Elytra on right now, which lets me fly. It lets me float too. So I have netherite armor. So I'm not taking a ton of damage. Just be really, really, really careful if you decide to do what I'm doing right there, because fall damage is not good. Okay. So anyway, so we want to build a wall. So I have the top coordinate. That's the top corner. And then we're going to come all the way down here to the bottom. And we're going to say, okay, this is where we want this. Let's say we want it right here. So we're going to do a fill here. We're going to grab those coordinates. And then we're going to do 36384 minus 29. Now, what do we want to build this out of? It could be anything. You know what I like? I have Biomes of Plenty. They do white sand. I think it's really nice looking. So let's go ahead and do white sand. Okay, here we go. We're going to tab on that. Now it's white sand. Now watch, enter. Bam. There is a giant, that's the beginning of a tower right there. I mean, how nice is that, right? That you don't have to kill yourself working that. Now, if we want to take it away, all we need to do is like the reverse of what we did. So if we did fill and we just did it, hold on, where's the other, I forget what the other coordinate was. Now let's just do this. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, let's fill, let me make sure I got the right thing here. If I screw this up, it does happen. Okay, minus 49. Okay, there. And then we have 36384 and then minus 29. Now this is the reverse of, this is exactly what we typed in earlier, but what we'll do is we're going to do air, Minecraft air, and then this should work. Boom, it did it. Now, since I did the bottom block, it left the sand here. And sometimes you'll see that. You'll make mistakes. I mean, I made a mistake. I should have actually put it on a top block, a block above. But again, I can fix this very easily because if I do fill. Now, see, let's be fair. In some cases, if it's something small like this, you know, yeah, just knock it out normally. You know, I mean, if you've got good gear, just go ahead and do it and then just fill it. Now, see, now I've knocked out too much. I'm like, oh, now it's going to be a pain in the ass. Well, guess what? We're going to go fill. We're going to grab those coordinates. And we got that. And then we're going to come all the way back here. And we're going to get that. Remember, we want to get that top corner there. So that's some good examples. And there we go. All right, there it is. And we're just going to do grass block. Oh, hello. Messed that up. There we go. Grass block. Boom. Just like that. Okay. So that's, I think, a pretty good way. You know, sorry, my videos, I tend to go on. And this is my first attempt at doing a video like this. And I hope to do more. I want to do a video maybe on, you know, some of the great mods that are out there and that kind of thing. Because we are working 1.19 and a lot of the bigger mod builders like Biomes O'Plenty, Better Animals Plus, you know, there are too many to name. But I'd like to do, you know, they're updating quickly. They're already, you know, in tune with Forge. That's why we've got all this running properly. So we had a really good time with that. And we're going to do a lot more. Like I said, we want to build a lot of big projects like this. Like this is a giant greenhouse and flower garden. And trust me, for doing the fills, it makes all the difference. Okay. So I hope some people found this video useful. I hope it was pretty straightforward. I hope it's understandable. If it helped you out at all, if anybody came into this, I don't care who you are, and you said, hey, man, you know, this really taught me how to do this, I would love to hear your comments. Please leave them down below. And again, please hit the like, subscribe button. I want to try to make more videos like this. Eventually, over time, I'm going to try to improve the editing skills. And I mean, right now, I'm just freewheeling it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps somebody do something. And I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.